Disclaimer, I only have some leadership experience. So if you have any doubts about conflicts, go to someone else. Anyways, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests.
Good evening.
Whatever I present to you now, it is based on whatever I got from Toastmasters.org. But the main objective tonight is for us to all learn about how to resolve conflicts, theoretically. Now, conflicts, they happen all the time. In the house, in the kitchen, with your boyfriend or girlfriend, with your mom, or even in Korean drama movies. The motto of Toastmasters is where leaders are made. Now eventually in the future we will all be leaders, and when we are leaders, there's a high tendency of people having conflicts in our place. Now the way you handle the conflict will end up in one of two ways. If you handle it well, your team will have more trust with each other and you will have more teamwork. If you don't handle it well, it will create more distrust and the team will not function as effectively. So as leaders, how can we know what to do in terms of conflict within our teams? Now that's something that we can explore for tonight. Now let us define what conflict means first. Conflict means when two or more people have differences, real or perceived, that are not resolved. Now everyone has differences, but some differences can clash with each other. As long as we don't resolve them, it can create conflict. Now, what is conflict resolution? It is to identify and address conflict in a mature and respectful way. So if you were to resolve conflict in a non-mature way, it's not resolution. Now, one of the ways, some people say that the best way to learn is to ask why. Why do things happen? For tonight, let us ask the question, why do conflicts happen? Now, why do conflicts happen? Can happen with these four key areas. Number one, controversial personalities. Number two, misunderstandings. Number three, issues. And number four, leadership styles. Let me get into each one of these tonight. First one is controversial personalities. Now, everyone has different personalities, but there are some personalities that are much more difficult to handle and much more prone to conflicts than other personalities. For example, there's someone that everyone dislikes, for example, in the workplace. Now, one of these people, for example, is the know-it-all. The know-it-all does not accept opinions. So in a meeting, when we discuss about what we should do, he or she will always be the person like, this is wrong, I know this, I have past experience in my previous workplace, I know how this goes, I don't need to accept anything that you say. And number two is the narcissist, which is me. No, just kidding. Number two is the narcissist, which is not me, obviously. The narcissist is the person who loves himself or herself too much that he doesn't care about other people. They don't contribute. They take, but they don't give. And number three is the self-loather. I'll get into that later. Number four is the argumentative individual. These are the people who, if you say something, say a certain feedback, he or she they will always tend to take you into arguments. So they're quite sensitive people. So you have to handle these people in a very sensitive way. And the last 2 points are the self-loather, the people pleaser. These are people pleasers tries to please everyone. So if you try to tell him or her what to do, he or she will say yes. But because she is people pleaser, he will also listen to other people. So it's very hard to tell that person what to do. And self-loathers, it's in the slide, so I just wait. Right. So what we haven't gone through is misunderstandings. Misunderstandings are very simple. It happens all the time, especially in drama movies. Misunderstandings happen when one or all of the parties involved in the team do not have the bigger picture in the situation. So for example, if I'm organizing something with Ruben, and then Ruben doesn't understand something that I don't understand something that Ruben does, and then we tend to have conflicts. Like, Ruben, why didn't you do this email? Nabil, why didn't you email this person? Why didn't you go to this person? But if conflicts happen because of misunderstanding, when these two people go into the same room and they talk about what they are misunderstood about, once they get all the information, the misunderstanding disappears. Right? Next one is issues. Issues happen because of disagreements in what people believe. So I believe something should be, this building should be red, but Ruben believes this building should be blue. Or I believe that everyone should eat tuna pizza, and Ruben believes everyone should eat fish. So these differences basically create issues. Okay? Obviously, in a workplace, it'll be more serious than that. Okay, but this is just an example. Next one is in terms of leadership style. Now, this is very interesting because when you're a leader, your followers tend to have preferences on which type of leader they want to follow. So these are the four example types of leaderships. There's authoritarian, just basically, or people saying whatever I say is law, whatever I say is power. So you can find these types of leaderships in the army. If I tell you to do something, you do it. So one of the examples is John F. Kennedy. So this is a person who, whatever he says, the people under him, okay, basically they follow whatever he says. And authoritative people usually tend to be more successful because of their close attention to detail of their employees. But the underside of that is that some people dislike authoritarian leadership because they don't feel like they are being listened to. Another one is charismatic. Charismatic leaders tend to be more inspiring. An example is Martin Luther King. Yes, yeah. So this is a person who, he speaks on the stage and he speaks words like, oh, I believe in this, I believe in that. So the people who follow him does not follow him out of force, but out of inspiration, because they feel like it's the right thing to do. So those are charismatic leaders. Another example is democratic leaders. Democratic leaders are leaders who get you into the meeting room and they say, okay, what is your opinion? Let's all voice out your opinions, and then we get to the majority. So those are charismatic, democratic leaders. And then last but not least, there's passive leaders. Passive leaders are basically bosses that don't do anything. So they're not leaders. Okay. So we have covered everything. Why do conflicts happen? It's based on these four areas. Now, let's find out how to resolve conflicts. Now, there are 5 ways of how to resolve conflicts. The easiest one is to ignore the problem. So you're the boss, your employee comes up to you and say, there's a problem. They say, just ignore it. Now, this is useful if you think that the issue is not that important. But if it's important, if you ignore it, obviously it'll become a bigger problem. So this is not recommended. Next one is accommodate. Accommodate basically means to say whatever. For example, an employee walks in, he or she says, do you want the budget to be 50,000 or 60,000, for example? And you just say whatever, because you just say that it's her choice. Now, this is important when you realize that the issue is more important to the party than to you. It's just like saying a person walks in and he says, do you want pizza tuna or pizza chicken? It doesn't matter to you that much, so you just say whatever flavor, because it's more important to the person than it is to you. Right? Next one is compromise. Someone walks in, he says, I don't think my budget for my team is good enough. I have $50,000, I need $60,000, but the other guy has $70,000. So you work on a compromise. So the other team should give some amount of money to the other person, and the other person should give something back. So both parties compromise, so it's a lose-lose situation. Next one, you have. Next one is force. Now, I'm not talking about Star Wars. Wait, did something happen? Yeah. Next one is about force. Now, by force, I mean there are a lot of leaders who uses their authority in order to execute an order. So if Mac wants to go home at 5, I want him to go home at 6. He has to go home at 6. At 6. If not, I will fire him, for example. This is a simple way to handle problems, but it creates winners and losers. So I'm saying that I'm the winner, and you're not listening to me, you're the loser. So it creates some sort of inferiority to the person who's listening to you. And the last but not least is the best option is to collaborate. When you get employees to talk to each other, figure out a solution that can work together, it'll be great because both parties will agree to this solution and both will have greater commitment to the solution. Now, let's imagine this case study. Okay, let's imagine that last word is not there. A case study. You are the CEO of the best restaurant in the world, hiring the best chefs in the world. Suddenly, one of the junior chefs, Farhan, decided to complain about the head chef, Gordon Ramsay. If you don't know Gordon Ramsay, I think you're in the wrong age group, you should do this. Gordon Ramsay. So, if you don't know Gordon Ramsay, if you don't watch his TV show, Gordon Ramsay is a type of chef who's very strict. Whenever the other chefs don't make a proper meal, he'll shout angry words at them, and he will insult the other chefs until they get it right. And his method usually works because he's one of the best chefs in the world. He manages like 27 restaurants. Okay. Now, Farhan decides to complain that Gordon Ramsay is being too strict to him. Then, Farhan had just been diagnosed with high blood pressure due to the stress and is planning to sue Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay is wrong. And then Gordon Ramsay believes that what he did was right and he sees nothing wrong. So you're the CEO of this company and you have these two employees having conflict with each other. What do? It brings us to how to facilitate collaboration. How do you get these two people to collaborate with each other? Now there are 6 steps. Number 1 is to find the respective environment in order and then find the root cause, find disagreements, find solutions, agree on the best solution. Now let's go to create respectful environment. Creating a respectful environment serves the same reason as to why we create a supportive environment in Toastmasters. It's in order for us to speak out without being judged. So when we create a supportive environment, we tend to be more open. So how do we create a supportive environment? We encourage everyone to speak in that meeting. We encourage everyone to listen in that meeting. And because we're talking about conflicts, people tend to be more emotional when they talk about conflicts. So it is important for us to not deviate into the emotional side, do not play the blame game, and focus on the topic, which is to solve the solution, solve the problem. Next one is to find the root cause and find areas of disagreement. Now, these are, so Farhan and Gordon Ramsay decided to sit with each other and find, okay, what do we disagree on? What's our problem? So you can see from here, Gordon Ramsay name called because he believes that it's better for people to work when they're under pressure. They produce more high quality work when they're under pressure. So that's why he starts name calling. However, based on the description, they found out that Farhan is actually sensitive to name calling due to some childhood bullying. And then Gordon Ramsay thinks Farhan is lazy, right? But eventually, it is found out that Farhan is actually overworked. Apparently, after hours, he goes home at night and teaches tuition after chef working. And then, Gordon believes in authoritative leadership. However, Farhan does not like authoritative leaders because it's not his preference. So now, from this chart, we can see that there's areas of disagreement. Gordon likes name calling, Farhan doesn't. Gordon believes in this kind of leadership, Farhan doesn't. So when we point out what are the areas of disagreement, it's easier to see the solution better when you point out all the problems, when we list down all the problems. So that's what we're trying to do here. Next one is, after talking about what things that we disagree with, it's time to talk about the things that we agree with. After long hours of talking, Farhan and Gordon Ramsay agrees that we should all be prioritizing our health. We are not against bullying, and we both believe that in the workplace we have to be as energetic as possible and not be tired. So after identifying these areas of agreement, they both brainstorm for what solutions to use. Okay? So the main point of listing down all these ideas is because the point of brainstorming. But the point of me listing down all these solutions is because in brainstorming, the first 3 or 4 ideas that you list down is usually the most dumbest ideas. Right? So the point of brainstorming is to pour out all those dumb ideas so that we end up with smarter ideas. So we're listing down all the brainstorm ideas, and then after brainstorming, we weigh the pros and cons of each of these. Is it bad? Is it good? Weigh it all down, and then we end up with 2 things. We think that Farhan should quit his tuition school. If he quits his tuition school, he'll have more energy, he'll be less overworked, he'll have more energy in the kitchen, and it will align with what they both believe in, having more energy in the kitchen. And Gordon should stop on the name calling, because they both agree that bullying is not right. So this is the thing that they will both agree on. And after having this agreement, after executing both these decisions, Farhan and Gordon Ramsay works together like peanut butter and jelly. So in conclusion, conflicts happen all the time. But if we manage to keep track of what we do, the mistakes that we do in the workplace, and we manage to keep track of how we can manage conflicts, then conflicts, no matter how big or how small they are, can always be resolved. And as a leader, we must all resolve conflict. Thank you.